Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Robert Frost. Welcome to the Transformation Highway. I'm your host, Kristin Carlson. Really grateful to be here with you today with a beautiful guest who has an amazing story and so much to share, and she's going to give us some insights into the astro weather of the summer of 2026. Coming up here, we're rolling right into it. I've got Carrie Carlisle, who is a mom of 4 grown adults and a Gigi of 2. She has 19 plus years in sales, recruiting, and mentor leadership for a global cosmetic company. And in late 2022, Carrie hit a reset button on her life, changed her marital status, moved to another city, left the religion she was born into, grew her beautiful hair out to its natural shade, and stepped back from leadership in her long-standing career. She also became a granny, and in the process left an entire social circles while gaining a newfound love of astrology. And in 2023, January, she began her first studies of astrology, finally free to engage with a topic that was considered extremely taboo by the family and church she was brought up in. Carrie says the handbook for our lives is reflected in the sky. It's just that nobody told us where to find it. And the principles that she knows most are: 1, each of us has an internal connection to the divine and can truly trust our inner knowing. Amen to that. And 2, when a person changes for the better, they cannot help but change everyone in their sphere of influence for the better. Welcome, Carrie.
Thank you, Kristin. You make me sound good. I sure appreciate just the space, getting to know you. I know it's taken us a couple months to actually get this on the books, but woman with a voice, and what you're doing here is amazing and so good. We need you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, we all just have to step into our stories and become the protagonist, right?
Agreed.
Of the things that move us from the heart.
Yes.
And so I'm trying to do that every day, and I know you're doing that, and I know that you've got quite a story about your journey of doing that, which couldn't have been easy and must have taken a lot of courage. And so I don't know how much you want to share, but I would love to hear about, how did this big transformation in your life come about? When did it come about? What were some of the catalysts that really moved your heart to start making these big changes?
Oh, great questions. And I think, what does a woman who's almost 48 years old and born into a religion and in a marital status, and what makes her want to completely rearrange everything? And it wasn't something that was automatic, although it probably seemed automatic, that, just to I'm done. It was divorce, move, just cut out the church, and, just change so many things. But it did take me a little bit of time. I think maybe a decade before you start to question your life and be like, is this really what I should be doing? Is this really the direction I was going in? And it kind of reached a fever point where I noticed I was having panic attacks when I thought about my future, going further. And there was actually, it felt like a dead space in my heart. I couldn't feel what I used to. I couldn't get as much inspiration as I used to, and that was stark. That was hard for me. And so, it just came to a point where I had to be like, okay, what are the things that I cannot have, and what's led me to this? And it was definitely my upbringing. that led me to the religion. You know, I was
Mm-hmm.
born into it, the dominant
Mm-hmm.
religion in the state of Utah, and
Mm-hmm.
and so it kind of that's that's so weird, but yeah, it kind of groomed me. I was conditioned to accept the religion. I mean, first it was the family dynamic, and then the religion just layered nicely on top of it, and it prepared me for a marriage that I felt like I had to do. I do think there's a little bit of a trauma bond there as well. um,
Mm-hmm.
like I think he had his own trauma that he was dealing with, and I had my own, and then you go together and create.
Yeah.
You do your
Yeah.
best.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the idea with that religion is that you're in the moment, you're creating your future happiness, your afterlife, and for your family. Like, there's incredible pressure. It's a very high demand religion. And
Yes.
so, you have to, it's not right now that you're working towards to be obedient and guilt-free and grateful, and working out your shame. It's also
Yeah.
your eternity and everyone else around you that's involved with you. And so I did stay in a marriage that just wasn't good for quite a long time. And it's funny because I remember looking back and seeing points where I was like, this is so not okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you tell yourself, all right, well, this is just what I have to do to
Mm-hmm.
get my what's the word, like, to keep the highest blessings that are available to me and my
Yeah.
family, like. And
Yeah.
so things would happen and I'd be like, this is not sane, this is not okay, that's not how a happy family goes.
Mm-hmm.
um, it was after my divorce that I came out. One of my friends had said to me, actually, it was my astrology mentor, and she said, no, that's not forgiveness, because I kept, the religious mindset was like I just had to forgive 70 times 7.
Mm-hmm.
That's not forgiveness, that's allowance. And it just kind of like
Uh-huh.
hit me between the eyes. And yeah, it was true. And when you're in a marriage where, I'm not saying all people, but I do feel like some people, if they're in a marriage and they just know that person's staying no matter what, you
Yeah.
can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah, there can be a lot of enabling and bad behavior and not much of
Yeah.
a like drive to make things better, better yourself, contribute in a meaningful way.
Right, right. What you said about like just growth and becoming and fighting addictions and deciding you're
Yeah.
not going to act a certain way. Those
Mhm.
things they kind of become optional, if you're a certain
Yep.
kind of person. And there was an experience I had with my children, and it just really sealed the deal. They were telling me just different parts of a conversation that they had, and like the betrayal that I felt was so deep, and just, when you just see red and you're just
Yeah.
like, and so that combined with, all of the experience and the intuition that I had over the years was just, yeah, had to take care of that.
Did you
So
find yourself like really fighting it at first, like fighting like the voice that was telling you that changes needed to happen?
I think I had spent so long, like the more part of a decade,
Hmm.
fighting that,
Yeah.
that no, after these experiences, like just bam, 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 one right after the other, it was like goddess Kali going through and just slicing and anything
Yeah.
that was there, like zero tolerance for
Yep.
so much. Like, and
Yeah.
there was no question. And I had, back a decade before, had said to him, to my former, like, I'm done. I'm going to go find an apartment. I wanted to extract our family out of that situation. And he chased me over a couch, like just livid. And so
Hmm.
I knew I was gearing up for that again. And it didn't happen that way. It was so clear so clean, so cut. It's like something in him knew, like,
that it was
yeah.
done.
hmm
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to have just changed the example that I gave to my kids
Yeah.
about what is okay in marriage, what is okay in a family, what is okay in a home, to just completely annihilate that
Yeah.
and say, no, it's not okay. And they've been very gracious. Like I just, the mom guilt, like just the it doesn't even have to be mom guilt, just like the guilt of staying in a situation like that is just and they've been just wonderful about, seeing my situation and knowing that I was trying to do the best that I can, but I'll probably forever apologize, Kristin. Like you, I mean, no matter what, their childhood was what it was
Hmm.
because of the whole situation. So,
Well, you're not alone. I mean, how many people have found themselves in that situation? And coming from my own challenging childhood, I can say that I wouldn't be who I am today without those experiences either. Those um, defined me in so many ways,
yeah.
sometimes temporarily in bad ways, but mostly for good ways and things that I overcame in the long run. And you develop a lot more, I think, compassion when you experience things firsthand as well.
Yeah.
So it's
Good.
just a journey everybody's learning together.
So true.
Hmm. How
Yeah.
old were you when you finally just cut cut the ties?
Let's see, my divorce has been final for 3 years. So about probably the end of my 48th year. So
Okay.
like, half of my life just kind of grappling with the really, I do feel like it was just the start of it was just what I was born into. A fish is
Yeah.
born into water and they don't know it.
Yep.
They're like, this is true, is true, is true. This is real. This is what the family dynamic is. This is what, is expected of you. You don't know any other way. And
Hmm.
so I can just see the progression. So it took half my life.
Is there anybody else around you that has had a similar experience to you in that way that you've known, where they kind of like wake up and go, "Oh, this isn't my path," or did you feel like you were kind of on a solo journey?
Good question. So I feel like my sister definitely had that experience, but hers was probably 14 years before mine was.
Okay.
Um, and she didn't leave the religion first. She was fighting through it with the saturation mindset of the religion. But yeah, she definitely was just like, I cannot grow spiritually in this relationship. It
Yeah.
can't be. And she, her kids were little. Mine were grown.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you're always a mom, and so you're always going to be worried about them. The first year after the divorce, I was like always checking, like, how's everybody? Where's everybody at? And like,
Yep.
hers were little, and so she did have to have a lot more interaction with her former, the back and forth, and dealing with the kids and figuring out her financial situation, and yeah.
And
So
how did it go for you as far as the community around you and having to, you know, feel what everybody thought or hear what everybody thought or, distance yourself? How did that go?
yes, so. I did not have a single person say to me, "What are you doing? You're letting go of the best thing in your life." Nobody questioned me or, you know, tried to change my mind. But, they couldn't have. And maybe it's because they just decided this is what was happening. And I told people after
Yeah.
the papers were submitted, and then I told my parents. Same thing with my brothers and sisters. Like I was not allowing any any opportunity for anyone to talk me out of it or guilt me out of it, or you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
you
I was
felt supported.
Does yeah, I didn't really feel like a whole lot of people were cruel or mean, or it was really helpful to move from the neighborhood that I was in because it was very, very religious neighborhood, that same
Hmm.
community, and we had been there for 17 years.
Okay.
And so, and it's interesting, in that religion, it's very interesting. It's kind of cliquish, and another thing that's interesting about it, Kristen, is that it's almost like the other members keep other members in line
Hmm.
because there's this disassociation, or if you're not being as good of a member of the church, then you're kind of treated differently.
Hmm.
People would watch for, well, what are they wearing and what are they doing? And,
Yeah.
it sounds silly, but it really
Hmm.
is what would happen. And so it's interesting that there's like these built-in people who are policing you to
Yeah.
make sure that you're going into the straight and narrow
Hmm. Hmm.
of what, yeah, they feel like should happen. So it
Hmm.
was nice to be able to remove myself from that community. I did have a few very good friends that just went with me. They're still Mormon. They still, do whatever it is that they do, but they still are okay to speak to me. They're still okay to meet up with me. They're still okay to be friends with me. And
Yeah.
it's interesting because you just kind of like, oh, like I knew there was a reason why I liked you, like truly liked you. Like, it
Yeah.
wasn't just like
Yeah.
we're thrown together and we gotta sit
Yeah.
there.
Uh-huh. It goes beyond the boundaries and the borders of
Yeah.
titles and names and
Yeah,
organization.
so true. And to have someone who actually, like, that's more along the lines of living the religion that was taught, about grace and about,
Hmm.
you know, that's more living along the lines of it, unconditional love, than a lot of, what was shown otherwise. It is
Yeah.
really interesting to see how people react, though, because you've got the people who cannot talk to you at all. It's like they're afraid you're going to give them cooties and they're going to go down the hall with you. And then there's some people where, like, you're friends and you give them the opportunity to ask more questions about your journey, and they're like,
Hmm.
they don't want to hear it. They want to check in on you, but they don't want to hear details. And then you've
Okay.
got people who really feel like you made your decisions because you wanted to go, do go off and sin or do things that, the church isn't okay with.
Hmm.
They have in their mind that, oh, well, she must want to, whatever, drink and party
Get
and
crazy.
get high. Yeah. She must want to do all these things.
She is she has turned 48 and she's just losing it.
That's right. That's right. And then to have the people, it's rare, but to have the people who are just listening, just open to you. They're not trying to manage your decision. They're not trying to put their own guilt or fear upon you. They are
Yeah.
just there to listen, and they truly want to know. Like,
Yeah.
rare people, but they're there.
Yeah, blessings. Those are the good ones.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
unconditional love.
Right. You think you're going in for a fight, when the topic comes up, and they're
Yeah.
just listening to you.
Hmm. Mm. And did you so start building community obviously outside of the church and reaching out and connecting with people? How was that? How did you feel free, expansive? Were you lonely? What was that like to be out of the organization of everything?
Oh, yeah. I was extremely blessed because my career, which probably wasn't, I didn't really feel like it was looked on very favorably
Okay.
by the church or what we were taught.
Okay.
But my former had asked me to go out into the workforce and, make money. And so I
Yeah.
chose this career that um, it got me out of the house.
Yeah.
But it also was all about relationships, and it was all about women.
Like I just
Mm-hmm.
a deep love for women.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not attracted to them,
Mm-hmm.
all my love to the community, but I am, attracted
Mm-hmm.
to the male form. But like
Uh-huh.
women are amazing.
Yeah,
Women are astonishing. They can do so many things, and they're just all heart, and they're fire and courage for their people, and they will make things happen, and they can go long ways, for themselves and what they believe is true and the people around them. Like
absolutely.
women are phenomenal. And so
Yeah,
that career really gave me a sphere of people who just loved me. And they helped me so much. They helped me move across the valley to another city. And, they were checking in on me and we're, always getting together. And I think there's a little bit more of a freedom to get together because they didn't have the marriage that demanded certain things from me. And so a lot of my
yeah,
relationships have blossomed into just deeper and more because I could spend more time with them.
I bet.
Yeah, and really get to know them. So I think that I haven't felt lonely. That the parts when I have felt lonely are that I'm an empty nester all of a sudden as well.
Yeah,
So
yep.
my youngest was a senior in high school, and he had 6 months left of his senior year. That's how much I did not plan.
Well,
Months
best laid
from,
plans. There's no
yes,
planning for events like
no,
that in
there
life.
was no thought or plan, and it was right
Yeah.
before the holidays. And I mean, we tried to act like everything was normal, like it was just, it's fine.
Oh,
But like he did his 6 months and immediately went to college, and it was me in a townhome. And I was used
wow.
to, I came with 8 brothers and sisters.
Oh
And
my
then I moved
goodness.
to a home where I immediately had 4 children. And like, this is the first time it's just been Carrie in a space. And
Wow. How does that
yeah,
feel?
it's different. It's just different. At first, like, just because it's new, you kind of have like little fears come up in your brain. Well, what about this? Or what about that? Or how's this going to work? And, Davis, my youngest, was with me for those 6 months. And then he came back the summer after and he stayed. And so that was great. And then my daughter, who just had the little grandbaby, she's less than 10 minutes from me.
Hmm.
So it was so extremely wonderful though, Kristen, to be in my own energy.
Yeah,
Like just not have and not that, my family or the people around me were horrible or wrong or anything, but to not have any voices but me and the divine, and to not have any energy or, just anyone's schedule. And, as women, we're
we
open
take
to
it
all
all
that.
on.
We do. We're going to
Hmm.
support them. We're going
Yep.
to, do the, what do you need? How can I help you? And
Yep.
to just be in my own space is, I cannot tell you how wonderful it is. It's so
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
so happy for you.
it's really good. If I make a mess, then I made a mess. Like nobody else did it, and I have to clean it up or whatever. It is
Yeah.
literally just me. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's been
and the
really,
and the energy aspect of
yeah,
it, not managing other people's energy and emotions, and also probably coming face to face with your own emotions too, right? Because when we're with other people, put we can also put things on other people, right? And so when it's
true.
just you, then you kind of also come face to face with yourself, I would imagine.
Yes, so much reflection and
Hmm.
healing. And yes, seeing people and, helping with my kids and all of that. But like the time spent by myself and in my own space, just like you said, in my own energy has been priceless because I want a wonderful, beautiful future. I would love to have a relationship that I'm all in and I want to be in, but I've got to heal to so that I don't recreate. Like that has
Absolutely.
been one of my fears that I would
Yeah.
miss something and recreate a situation.
Hmm.
Ugh. So it has been so interesting. And just when I think I'm ready to like maybe make some big steps or something, I'm like, I'll find something else. Something else will come to my mind, to my heart. have an
Yeah.
experience and I'll be like, oh my goodness, like I didn't heal that. And if I
Hmm.
hadn't taken this time, if I'd immediately gone into find a relationship or like
Yeah.
I would have never met this version of myself who is different.
Yes.
She's different. The standard is different.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, it's been so good. So good.
And
And I,
giving her the chance to come fully to life, to full expression, right? Like you say, because then that version of yourself is able to meet whatever version of whoever else you might bump into who comes along, you want that full expression to be ready.
mhm, absolutely. Yeah.
So, where and when did astrology come into the picture? How did you fall in love with astrology?
You know, just like in my bio, like astrology, tarot, crystal, anything
Yeah.
like that is considered the
Uh-huh.
occult is
Hmm.
so not okay with, the
Hmm.
church that I grew up into. They were like, this
With
is what
many churches, with many
Mhm.
religions, it's not okay.
Yeah, this is
Hmm.
your what you can see, and this is what you can talk about, and this is what is okay.
Yeah.
And so, but I've always had that interest. You get the
Mm.
little the newspaper and you go find it, what's my horoscope today? And it almost feels like, oh, I'm doing something so horrible. And
Uh-huh. Yeah.
the magazines, you go and find your sun sign. And so I've always
Yeah.
kind of had interest has always been there. And then I decided, you know what? Here I am. I'm gonna take a course and somehow, I mean, somehow I was connected with a woman who gave away 4-year degrees 30 years ago, maybe even more. And so I ran through her course in 18 months, and
Wow.
she's incredible. Like there were other members in the class, but just life things, and they fell away. And then pretty soon it was me and her one on one
Oh
for
my
18.
gosh.
Yeah,
What a blessing.
it was so good, and so intuitive too.
Mm.
Which was very helpful for the spiritual side of me that was just kind of going through and pruning what was,
Yeah.
deep conditioning versus
Right.
actual.
Your
And
internal
so,
voice, your true
yeah,
internal voice. Hmm.
right. She worked with the FBI and the CIA to find people. They
Oh
use
my gosh. Wow.
astrology and intuition, and she just really was wonderful and just took me in, and we did this, and then there were other courses and conferences that I went to, and
You just jumped in.
yeah. Yeah, that would be Carrie. Yeah, just saturate, dive in.
Okay, so what do you love about astrology? What is it that just gets you fired
Oh,
up?
you know what I love? I love the empowerment of it. Coming from a religion where they told you what to think and what to read and what to do and what your destiny looked like, your afterlife looked like, all of that. Like to look at the chart, and everyone has a birth chart. It is their natal promise. It's what the planets were doing the moment that they were born, and it's what their soul came to experience. And so that chart, it's so nice to be able to see, yeah, this part of your life you are a little confused in. You might not have boundaries here.
Yeah.
This part you don't really fit, and you're not
Hmm.
going to. And the
Hmm.
medicine for that is knowing that, like
Yeah,
not trying to.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
different parts of your chart, like just it reinforces what you know about yourself,
Hmm.
and that is huge. Like that is just it's very empowering to know that about yourself. So I love that about astrology. Another thing I love is how deep it is. There is
Yes.
astrology medical that where Western medicine can't figure out what's wrong with you, but you can look at your chart and it will show you the direction to go into. There's
Hmm.
astrocartography where the
Hmm.
planet lines lay on a map and it shows you, where are you going to be your most magnetic? Where are you going to be have the most healing? Where are you going to feel the
Yes.
most at home?
Which is
Um,
so interesting. Where
mhm.
are yours? Have you looked at yours?
Yes, I have.
We were
I've looked
talking about
at all of
where
that.
cool places to live.
I was wondering, have you had yours checked for where you're
I
moving?
did, yeah, actually with Denise, who I had on maybe last month, she's another dear, dear friend who's an intuitive astrologer. And years ago, she did it for me. And at the time, I was looking at California, the Bay Area, Western Washington, and Puerto Vallarta. And for Puerto Vallarta, it was a very creative, highly creative spot for me. And it is. I mean, it absolutely is. Like there's so much just movement and creative energy down there, and just color and life. And so it's so fun though to really like that is a whole other thing that I don't think many people know about, or it's not it's not so much shared,
Mm-mm.
really.
Yeah, yeah. I think that is wonderful for you to have your creativity grow in that area. Like
Hmm.
you are going to just eat it up. That is awesome.
Yeah,
Creativity part of your life because creativity is so soul feeding.
it
That's so,
is.
so good.
It
But
is so.
the different types of astrology, I love how, people think it's a fortune cookie. It's
Yeah,
like you're signed in a newspaper. There's a
yeah,
library of astrology that like it's amazing.
it
So
is. And it's so it is so, what's the word I'm looking for? Complex. I
mhm.
mean, the layers upon layers of stuff involved in the relationships and I mean, it is. It's a science and it's a spiritual practice and it's a psychology. It's all these different layers of things that come together.
Yes, I can tell you love it too.
I
Because
do. Although, honestly, I just, like I've told you, I just barely feel like I grasp it, like I'm always trying to take in as much information as I can, and it just feels so big. So my brain's always like trying to,
I feel
piece
like
in.
that, yeah, your brain is trying to piece. Sorry, I talked over you.
No, yeah, just to all the little things, and I'll be like, okay, I get that. Okay, perfect. I get. It's more of a resonance thing. Like when I'm hearing somebody say speaking, whether it's on the big level of world events and energies, or even just like personal for myself, I just know because I feel it and it clicks, and I'm like, yes, that's absolutely, what's happening and what's coming on, and.
Mhm.
And so it's an internal thing more than it's like a mental total understanding of all of the angles and the relationships and the houses and the signs. Like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's so much.
It's a whole language
It's
and
a
you're
whole
right.
language.
It is
Yeah.
very deep, and so many times astrology is like super literal.
Uh-huh.
It amazes me every time that you can like cast a horary chart and ask where my keys are at, and it'll show you. Like it is phenomenal. It is stunning what astrology can do.
What kind
So,
of chart is that you just said?
a horary chart.
Okay, what is this?
It's HORAR. It's just
Okay.
the moment that you have a question, you cast a chart for that, and then you can find out what the question is.
Oh my
You can define
gosh.
what the question is from the chart. Yeah.
Wow.
There's
Okay.
so many. I am not trained in that, but it's
Wow.
phenomenal. Like what is available is like you were saying, mundane astrology, financial astrology. Like
Hmm.
that one I should probably really
Oh, I know, seriously.
understand.
I
There's
know.
so many, and it's just, yeah,
So
very.
what is your favorite? What is the one that you work with the most?
Of course, you learn how to do the birth chart, and that is, what everyone is looking at when they come here. It's to experience, right? Your soul's here to
Yeah.
experience this. I don't even
Yes.
like to say learn. You're here to learn. No,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we're literally here to experience this. Um, and so, of course, I love that, but there's an evolutionary chart which shows your soul's progression
Hmm.
in this lifetime, and you
Hmm.
can track it into the next. Like,
Yeah.
even though the person perishes, the chart keeps going. And we know that because other houses in your birth chart, they're not really yours. They represent other people. And so your family can still have things going on in their chart, and that can be tracked even though a person has passed over. Like, yeah.
Again, it's complicated.
Yes, yes. And the
Complex.
orchestrated detail of the Almighty puts us
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, that just like the evolutionary astrology leads us kind of into the nodes,
Mhm.
right? Because isn't that a big part of evolutionary astrology, the South Node and the North Node, where we came from, where we're going,
Yes, and Pluto. Pluto is
and
used
Pluto? Okay.
in evolutionary. I think
Okay.
there's Saturn because that's the planet of karma.
Okay.
There's some people who are spiritual astrologers and they feel like this world is ruled by Saturn.
Uh-huh.
And so we're beholden to learning those lessons.
Okay. Yeah, the time,
Yeah.
structure and time and space makes sense.
Boundaries,
Uh-huh.
fears,
I
past.
have I have Pluto, Saturn, and my South Node all conjunct or
Woo!
close, really close. Yeah.
Oh, you
Uh-huh.
coming heavy hitting, huh?
I know, I know. Yeah, I've heard some stuff. I've gotten some interpretations on that. I'm like, oh, geez, that's a little heavy.
You know, it probably you probably understand it because it's like in your fourth house,
Yeah.
and that's, your family, your roots.
Yeah, it
So,
was it was a heavy beginning,
hmm
but it has been great for me defining what I want later on in life in my own family.
yeah,
That set the tone for like what we're going for in an
right.
inspired way, not even like what we don't want, although of course that dictates things too, right? But
Yeah.
leaning more into what we do want and what we do want
hmm
to create, the positive of it. Um, so tell us a little bit about your interpretation of the nodes.
Okay, so the nodes, what I feel like is, like you said, intuited through the learning, the courses, the conferences, is that the North Node is the celestial programming and energy that enters into the horoscope. The South Node is the drain. It's what's leaving us, it's the output. And so right now the nodes are in Pisces and Virgo, North Node in Pisces,
Hmm.
and we are on so much more of a spiritual uptick, receiving like spiritual information, direction, it's unconditional love, it's connection to the divine. Yeah, I mean, Pisces, of course, it covers so much because it's the
Yes.
last zodiac sign. So it takes that little piece of everything. It's kind of like knowing and boundless. It's Neptune rules it, and it's the seat of the soul.
Yes.
And across from it, when you're looking at a chart, across from Pisces is Virgo. That's its sister sign. And so Virgo, what we're letting go of is the hypercritical, overly servile, super detailed,
Hmm.
not
Yep.
not so much seeing big picture.
Hmm.
Those are the things that we're kind of shedding, that is like coming out of the South Node right now. So a little bit of a personal, like the Virgo's in my second house, and that's personal income, personal values, possessions you keep around you. And I've had a lot of expenses, but also a lot of just shedding personal possessions that are not, they just hold an energy that I am
Yes.
not aligned with anymore. And so there's been a lot of that going on.
Are
So,
you a
and
Leo rising?
I am a Leo rising.
So am
Yeah.
I.
Oh, you are?
I am
Okay.
just barely by a hair.
Okay, so you're
Oh, I
like
love
the
that.
baby.
You're a total Leo rising, shining so bright. Look at
Oh,
you.
thank you. Attractive friend.
Um, how was last year? I mean, this might be kind of out of range, but when everything was in Pisces, it was such a
Okay.
powerful time for me last, I guess that would have been, what was that, March,
hmm
April, when there were like, gosh, what was it? It was Saturn and um, Venus, Mars, and then Venus and Mars retrograded at that time. It was just like, whoa. It was a
A pile
huge,
up.
huge couple months in my life.
Yes. Yeah, that was incredible. So I'm a little older than you. Huh? So to have Saturn breaking over my moon
Mm.
was excruciating. And then also I was in my Chiron return at the
Oh,
same time.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that happens to us about 50. And
Okay.
then it's 9 months before, 9 months after, wherever Chiron is in your chart.
Hmm.
And your Chiron, as you know, is your deep wound. You get to the
Yes.
point where you can teach from it, but everyone has that Chiron return that is rough. It's rough.
Wow. That was all happening at the same, you were in Chiron return last spring. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Wow. What a deep dive.
Yeah. So when I talk about healing, the healing time that I took,
Yeah.
yes, to the nth degree, like it was,
Wow.
yeah. So how did you experience it? Because it was in your eighth house of joint ventures, taboos, things that we don't, normally talk about, but like
Yeah.
places that meld with others.
Yeah, it was, oh my gosh, it was one of the most transformational times in my life, really. And I also have Mars and Venus conjunct in Aries. So it was all
Yeah.
kind of, activating at that point. And yeah, stuff in my relationship that had to really be churned out and cleaned up, stuff within myself. Like, one of the things that I also wanted to ask you about, because you went through this big change in your 40s, and as I'm just entering, I'm 41 now, but I could feel the change at 39. I could feel it coming, even though I couldn't really define it and I didn't know what it was. I just knew like a huge shift was coming.
Mhm.
And I think my hypothesis is I don't hear many women speak of this, or maybe it just hasn't reached into my sphere yet. But I think 40s are just a hugely transformational decade for women, especially as we come out of being so selfless and so of service, which is great. I mean, like, I feel like I really polished myself over the past 2 decades being in service to my family and my children, and all of the wonderful lessons that you learn as a mother and as a wife, as far as, being caring and compassionate and kind and patient and all whatever those, all the
Yeah.
virtues, right? But then I think you also, or I feel like I've gone into my 40s and it's kind of like, all right, no more Miss Nice Guy.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm going to take some of my energy back now. Okay, I'm going to start to define, like, have some definition around my energy again. And then in also allowing, sort of building the container, then the creativity has a space to really be cultivated again. Whereas it was all so outgoing, before going
Yes.
into the family, which is necessary and wonderful, and I loved every second of it.
Mhm.
So it's not, but it's just, it does feel like an energetic shift. I mean, how do
Mhm.
you feel having gone through your 40s?
I honestly, I do believe there's a physical change that happens in women, like chemically happens when, and of course, it's not like a cutoff, like energy graduates, right? So I really do feel when you start into perimenopause, your body is changing chemically, hormonally, your mind is starting to rewire.
Hmm.
And relationships, like you were saying, relationships that used to act and, it was just known, this is how we do. They do have to be rearranged. And
Hmm.
um, yeah, I do feel like that is huge. And as women, even just in the society that we live in, so many times the message is output, output, output. You're valuable. Your value is what you can output. And I'd really like to study traditional Chinese medicine, but the idea
Mm.
of yin, that women are
Yeah.
supposed to substance, blood, hold that energy versus continually being drained Like that's not what we're meant to do.
No.
Um, and I get it. Like you have kids and you're going to take care of them and you're going to lose sleep and you're going to have your priorities rearranged. And just like you said, that's super important. But also you get to the point where it's like, oh no, oh
Yeah.
no, I'm
Yeah.
my life force back, just like you said. Um,
Hmm.
I'm wondering because, maybe your astrology friend has told you about a Uranus return. You may still be feeling that something is changing, like something is coming, something big, and it might be your move. Um, but Uranus is the planet of like lightning strikes, flip-flops, like crazy liberation things that you might think, oh, it's Uranus, so I can be ready. No, you did not coming. And everyone has a Uranus return about 42.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know about the Uranus return. Okay, cool.
There's like a range, of course, because
Okay,
it's coming
around
exactly.
42.
Yeah. I shouldn't say return, it's a half return.
Okay,
Yeah, a return is at like 48 years old. But a
okay.
half return is either something crazy mad out of nowhere is going to happen to you, or sometimes it's you. That doesn't.
Sometimes you just go crazy.
I think some people want to call it, midlife. That's the midlife crisis, but
Yeah, yeah.
it, honestly, this half return and Uranus is madness, and it is like you set up the perfect picnic, and everything's perfect, and it'll come through and just like smash and bash it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always for soul alignment. It will
Hmm.
align you in the direction that you need to go. That's something about the planets too that I just really respect and have come to know. Like you might experience some pretty crazy things, but
Yeah.
it is to align you.
Yeah, it's funny because the first time I met Hanson was like right a couple months before my 40th birthday. And I had gone in and done a reading with him. And I didn't really have like, a lot of times in my life when I've gone in for readings is because there's something, really tumultuous happening and you're looking for answers. A lot of people go when they're really needing some sort of answer. And I didn't really at the time. I just was like, well, let's see, what happens, what he has to say. And it was so funny. He was like, you're on a 8-year trajectory and you're gonna get just like crunchy real. You're just gonna get you're gonna let it all, you're not even gonna care like how what other people see you as or what it looks like. You're so done with, and I'm like, yeah, that feels liberating. Cool. Bring it on.
What's so funny about that is Uranus is in a sign for about 7 years.
Yeah, which it
So
just
like when he's
it
saying
just
8 years,
happened, right? Oh, that's
yeah, when he's
yeah,
saying 8 years,
totally.
that's a cycle. Yeah, actually, let's see. Your
Uranus.
Yeah, Uranus is at 0 degrees some minutes of Gemini, and that is in your 10th house. Not it's of career, public status, it's authority figures, but it's how people see you and view you. And okay, woman, I just had it leave my 10th house.
Wow.
Because I'm at the
Wow.
very start of Leo rising. So
Yeah.
my bio, where you read all these things that
Yeah.
changed and were different, I am a completely different person. And
Yeah, you are.
so this is what's coming for you.
Okay, hold on to my seat if I can.
Yes, but you are uniquely prepared. Yeah, I'm on this side and so grateful that I
Hmm.
did all the crazy things.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's what life is about. I mean, we're not here to just be comfortable the whole time. We are here
right.
to experience the whole range of everything and grow in the process, grow from everything that we learn. Um, so, speaking of Uranus, we had the big four are shifting this year. This is a huge year astrologically.
Mhm.
What is your interpretation of a year like this, where we have um, Neptune, Saturn, Uranus, and Jupiter all changing signs?
Yes. So those first three are generational planets, and they stay in a sign so long that their energy is just like the bass note. It just reverberates through. And so you feel it stronger. And so the the configuration that you're talking about, where you've got Pluto, Neptune, and then Uranus, and they're in this beautiful mini grand trine, which is this flowing, yummy energy. And those are the outer planets that affect generations. Honestly, it makes me wonder if that's why there's so many people on this planet right now, because
Mm,
all the souls wanted to come experience this.
yeah.
And we're
Yep.
sitting in that now. And the configuration has kind of, because of retrogrades and, planets going direct, it's kind of like sometimes it's in place and then sometimes it's out because of a retrograde and then
Right.
it's sitting in it right now. And it's kind of, I'm hearing it called like an air fire basket. All those
Okay.
planets were in water and earth. So it was very slow moving, hard to move. It was very,
Mm,
just especially Earth. Earth is like solid, it's
yeah.
staunch, like it doesn't like to move. And then
No.
water is very, you know, it moves, but it's like more of a heavier.
Yeah.
And so they're all going into air and fire, which is so fast.
So
It is
fast. And
not.
it feeds into itself too.
That's
Sort of
right.
exponential.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
right. And so this beautiful energy, this generational energy is just kind of pinging around. And then having Jupiter come into play, that happens about July, I think the July 26 or 27.
Hmm.
Jupiter will like click into place in our rising sign. I'm sure you're aware that
Hmm.
is in Leo,
Yes.
so another
Yeah.
fire sign.
Uh-huh.
And okay, Jupiter is the planet of expansion,
Yes.
wisdom, protection, luck. Like it's justice, law. It's yeah, it's juicy. Like when Jupiter comes in, it's like Santa Claus bringing all the goodies. And so when Jupiter is entering this aspect, like it's just gonna blow up. It's
It's
just gonna
game on.
explode everything. Yes. And that's another thing about astrology. Like if you know that's coming and where it's happening in your chart, you can
Hmm.
decide how you're going to use that energy.
Right.
A lot of people think, well, the planets are just in the sky and they're telling us what to do. No, if I have Mars in my first house, I can decide, am I going to be more active? Am I going to go to the gym? Am I going to, how am I going to use that energy? Or
Hmm.
am I just going to sit complacent and let that energy be acted upon me in
Yeah.
ways I have no control over. So if
Right.
you know that energy is there, you can take control over it, not all the times, but you can take some reins and say, you know what, this is how this is going to reflect for
You
me.
can flow with it instead of trying to swim upstream.
Yes, yeah, yes.
Hmm.
Don't fight that.
It's no fun. No one wants to do it.
Mm-mm.
So the nodes are also shifting this summer
Hmm.
into Leo and Aquarius
Yes.
as well, coming in July. Which is it North Node in Aquarius,
Hmm.
South Node in
North Node,
Leo?
yeah. So the nodes, they're always in retrograde. They don't go direct, or they just always turn the opposite way of the planets. And so they will tick into Aquarius and Leo. And I love that you're paying attention to that because that is going to affect you.
Yeah.
I actually wrote some notes, so I'm just going to navigate over to them. Um, so yes, with the nodes switching, I feel like it's a little bit of an upgrade. And that sounds funny because you need to experience all of the signs in the houses that they are in your chart. Um, but it's like, of course, the celestial direction is going to be changing from what it was because Aquarius is now flavoring it.
Mm-hmm.
And Aquarius is forward thinking, it's altruistic, it's incredibly intuitive. It's like divine wisdom um, in like the collective, like Aquarius is it's we thinking. It's no man left behind. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that's an upgrade
Mm-hmm.
because the downside of Leo, and I have to say this, the downside, because we're Leo rising, so we're like,
Mm-hmm.
downside, I don't have a downside.
Leo does not believe it has a downside.
That's right.
That's the downside.
And yet every sign and every planet, they have like a skilled side. You know, the soul is skilled and it's going to
Yeah.
use the upside energy, or you as a soul have the choice to use the downside energy
Yeah.
that is unskilled.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
that, it's how you use that energy. So,
Yeah, the
um,
light and the shadow.
yes, good way to
Mhm.
put it. So, um, the part that the south node is going to be, sucking out is the parts of Leo that we do not need moving forward. So it's the boisterous, loud leaders who spew ego all around,
Mhm.
and they're all about their own rule and their own exaltation and, worship me,
Mhm.
loudmouth characters who are creating drama. Like,
Mhm.
I like to be the center of attention and create more of those. Like if you're that kind of leader, and if you're
Mhm.
paying attention, like you're going to want to change because you're about to
Yeah.
be relevant.
Yeah.
So there's just things that are in Leo that are not required and needed going forward. And
Mhm.
so with us
And
having,
those go together so well, right? Because you've got sort of like the upgrade of the we the people and the
Mhm,
downgrade of the lower vibe leadership,
yeah,
which is a
yeah,
great direction. I think everybody's wanting to head in that direction.
I think so too. I think we're really done with the narrative, the public narrative.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so true. So interesting about the nodes, the moon's nodes changing is that Saturn and Aries on the same day is going retrograde. And so
Oh,
Aries,
wow.
yeah, like that timing is just like
Yeah.
divine. So, and Aries is a sign of independence. It can be selfish, but it's courage and drive. And with Saturn, that planet of structure and boundaries and, responsibility, that's what Saturn asks us to do.
Hmm.
Going retrograde, it's kind of taking the gas off the independence and the for myself and the, that yeah, just that me focus.
That's some
And
great astrology.
yeah, and that to
Hmm.
have that going retrograde and I don't think we talked about retrograde. So, well, maybe we did. Like the retrograde action is when what you have learned when the planet is going direct, you turn it inward and it's an internal integration of what you learned when the planet is moving forward. So here's
Yes.
Saturn going retrograde and it's giving us a chance to internally consider like our independent structures that keep us selfish and in tunnel vision and um just days before that Mercury comes out of its retrograde as well.
Hmm.
Our
Hmm.
minds are clear. They've been kind of washed. They've worked out all of the emotionalness Mercury will have been in Cancer. It's in Cancer when this is happening. And, will have like understood some of the past that needs to be emotional, intuitive, that needs to be kind of more organized and thought through. Even experiences or things that have to do with women and mothers or caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
There might be things that come to our minds in that retrograde that we're like processing through, but Mercury does its job and it moves forward and the nodes shift. And yeah,
It's
there
a
it is.
great time. It's a great
Yeah,
time to be alive.
it's going to be really good to experience. There's some more I could add to that. When
Please, please
when
do.
When the universe says something in a chart, it will tell you 3 to 4 different ways the same thing.
Oh, I
So
love that. I've never thought about it that way.
it's reinforced in different
Yeah.
ways. It really is giving you the direction that you need to be working and learning and understanding in. So, as well as Saturn going retrograde and Mercury coming out of retrograde, we're also just barely, but still under the influence of 2 solar eclipses that were in the sign of Aquarius,
Hmm.
because when you have an eclipse, the effects of it last for 6 months.
Hmm.
And so we're still just right inside of that. And so it's just interesting that, divine has us doubling down on humanitarian, brotherly love.
Well,
It's,
and we have Pluto in Aquarius
yep, yep, that
for quite a while, but
transformation area.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
transformation. So,
Which,
yeah,
me, woo, woo, big up for Aquarius.
I am the
I
same. Big
love
up
that.
for Aquarius.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably haven't felt the full brunt of it just because your rising sign is on the last degrees, and then
Yeah.
here's Pluto, who's it's making its way. So I'm sure you feel it,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the intuitive, they can feel it. They can feel when
Hmm.
things are.
And I've got Jupiter in Aquarius, I think also.
I think so
And
too.
Mercury, maybe as
Yes.
well.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So that just
Yep.
makes me extra weird.
You know what? That's exactly the place in your chart where you need to just know, like, I'm different, and it's
Uh-huh.
okay. And really, what it is, Kristen, is that you're ahead. Like, people can't keep up with you because you're already intuitively thinking ahead to where the collective needs to go. And so it's not that you're weird, it's that they don't understand yet. But when
Hmm.
they do, it's going to be like, oh my gosh, I get it. She's brilliant.
Well, my husband definitely can't keep up. So and he's a Taurus, so he's
Oh
just
gosh,
like,
yes.
oh, trotting along. He's like, don't, no, slow down.
Do you know what degree Taurus he is?
Oh, I probably do. Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah, that's
But
fine.
it's
It's
so
just that you
funny. And
have your.
our charts mirror each other, which I also find is so interesting and very true to our relationship. We're kind of we are opposites in a lot of a lot of ways. We're similar in many
Yeah.
ways also, which is another thing that's so interesting about astrology is the overlay of
Yes.
relationship. The what is that? Is that synastry? Is that what it's
Synastry.
called?
Yeah. Synastry. Oh my word. That I'm like, talking about having a handbook. I mean, so many people have said that. Like, I don't, every kid doesn't have a handbook, but like in someone's birth chart, it shows, how they need to be loved, how they feel safe, what their communication style is. Like, to know those things about your loved ones is
Mm,
massive
it
about the way
is.
that you interact with them and how you
Hmm.
can support them. Like, it's incredible. Also, using astrology as a timing, to see what things are coming for them.
Hmm.
Mm,
I
hmm.
think in India, where they work with Vedic
Uh-huh.
astrology, I've heard that the family brings the astrologist in when the baby's born, and the whole family pores over the chart. I don't know if this is true all everywhere with everybody, but just generally that it's astrology has a strong much stronger presence over there as
Yes.
far as Vedic astrology, and the whole family likes to see so that they can support the strengths of that
Hmm.
child or kind of see which
Yeah.
direction that child can best be.
Ah, how awesome is that to have your
Yeah,
your whole family aware
I
of
know.
what you need? Like, that's
Yeah.
so cool. I did when my grandbaby was just born last week. I charged my son-in-law. I'm like, you're looking at the clock. I need a birth time. And he got that right to me.
Oh, yeah. It's such a wonderful um, tool to use. I was the last guest that I had on, we were talking about human design, which is also has a lot of astrological elements in it. And she was saying the same thing about human design, about what an amazing tool it is to understand the people in your life and to support them and um, rather than focusing on negatives or getting caught up in challenging aspects when you can see
Yeah.
it through a different lens, through
Mhm.
their astrological lens or through a human design lens. There's a lot more space for grace or just a reinterpretation of things when you have that extra information.
Yeah, or like not trying to put someone into the mold that you made for them or what you think they should be doing, but to be
Yes.
aware of what is required for them to survive, not just survive, but to thrive.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
absolutely.
love human design.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know. Another one. So good.
Agree.
Um, so going back to retrogrades in general, I think like Mercury retrograde, for example, gets like a lot of bad fame. But one thing that I've heard different people rephrase it as is that it is like a revisiting, a remembering, a realigning. It's your opportunity to go back into something, like you were saying, in a new way. And it does slow it down. And, they say don't sign contracts and don't do this during, Mercury retrograde. But it doesn't have to necessarily come with a negative connotation.
Yes, I completely agree. And not every Mercury retrograde is going to be the same for everyone. So
Hmm.
we've been talking about how we're fire signs in our big three. And then, there's also earth and air and water. And so certain modes are going to have a retrograde like Mercury hit differently. I
Mm,
feel like Gemini, because it's ruled by Mercury and Virgo, they usually
yeah.
like comes onto them and they feel it the most. And it's not always going to be technical either. So
Yeah.
sometimes like it being in Cancer this summer, like that's definitely more of a retrograde into the emotional piece of your being.
Hmm.
The parts of you that might hold on to things, remember things forever and and be kind of, angry about that or along those lines. And what I found with a Mercury retrograde in the time that I've been studying astrology and been aware of it is that it will come to me naturally, the things that I need to reevaluate, review, relearn,
Hmm.
honestly.
Hmm.
And so you really can trust that, if you have your chart and you know where Mercury is going to be transiting, then you can just be aware of, okay, it's going into an air sign. I'm probably going to be rethinking how I learned, what I learned, why I thought that was important. Air sign is like all about bridging and communication, people and ideas. So even relationships can come up. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, it's just not the same for everyone and probably good.
Yeah,
Probably good.
no, it's not supposed to be because
Yeah,
then
always
we've got
a
the houses, right?
concern.
Which
Yeah,
depending on what's happening in
right.
in our own specific houses, that's going to
Mhm.
color the experience differently as well, right?
Yes, so true. So when you look at a horoscope dial, like a chart, you're seeing three different layers. And I think you had mentioned that before. And when you look at it, it's a two-dimensional map. Like we're trying to do this one
Yeah.
day. One day we'll invent something where you can actually see it. Because in the middle of
Yeah.
the map, that is you. Like that's the top of your head on Earth. And then the signs are on their elliptical belt, the sun and the moon
Yeah.
theirs. And
Hmm.
so when you're looking at it, it's super detailed. Everyone has the signs, every single sign in their birth chart. Everyone has 12 houses. And then there's 10 planets. Well, two are the sun and moon. We call them planets.
Hmm.
They're illuminaries. We're aware of that.
Hmm.
But the planets come in and they bring the energy to the house. And the sign is kind of like the language that they're using to
Hmm.
express their energy.
Hmm.
And so then you have the aspects in between planets. And that's a whole nother fun thing to look
Yeah.
at and see. Yes.
Yeah. That's like four layers right there of
Yeah.
just those
Yep.
things.
Just those things. And there are
Mhm.
thousands of asteroids. That is fascinating. I am not trained in that, but it's amazing to see like on a world level, when there is planetary energy going on, what asteroids are around it and how it flavors what happens. It's
Wow.
so incredible. Like I cannot. It's just
Yeah.
fascinating. It's amazing.
Mhm.
Everyone needs this. Everyone needs to know their lives would change.
Yeah, I know. Whenever I listen to it, I always say, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah,
It's like my
true.
favorite thing to say about astrology because
You
and
do.
also, I don't know if you've ever experienced this or heard this, but I feel like my astrology runs early. Have you ever heard of that? Like when I listen to people give like the month ahead or a couple months ahead, I so often find that I'm already experiencing what is coming up. Have
Mhm.
you come into, I don't know, had an
Yes,
experience with that?
yes, for sure. Like, I also do, sorry, I don't know if that affected sound or not. I also do solar return charts, and that you probably know is the imprint of your year. And
Mm-hmm.
when you do a solar return chart, the sun comes exactly back to where it was when you were born, but you start to feel that energy a few months before. And so it's good to
Okay.
get the solar return done before your birthday because you're right, you're already in the energy of. And when a planet goes retrograde, it starts to slow down, it stations, it's like
Mm-hmm.
still, and then it retrogrades. And so the energy is just not a cutoff at all.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely, there's a flow and a start and a beginning. And so when you say that about like, I feel like my astrology happens beforehand. Yes, but also I do think that that is, I do think that that's part of your intuition too, and your
Mm.
awareness that you can feel that and experience that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, you're right. You start to feel things sooner, in
Uh-huh.
a solar return chart, like I tell you when the sun is going to enter each house, but it's the time before it and the time that's after it that is more
Mm.
as it comes in and it's going to express energy. How is that going to look in
Yeah.
that part of your
Okay. Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it is energy, right? It isn't defined.
Mm-mm.
It's a gradient, right, of
Yes,
energy that's
yes,
all
like
in
a rainbow.
flux.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Um, one thing I love so much about astrology is the language of archetypes.
Mm.
Um, I don't know if you're familiar with Joseph Campbell, if you've heard any of his work, but he kind of talks about how all philosophy, all religion is just language of archetypes. And so it's helping us as humans try to grasp the outer world. And astrology is about stories, right? It's about understanding our personal story, understanding each other's story and the world's story. And um, and it just does such a good job of storytelling for us, doesn't it?
Agree. Yes, yes.
Mm,
I love Joseph Campbell. Um, that's just such just a nice, it just feels good to have that kind of thought process on it, that it's going somewhere, that there is meaning. And it's nice to be able, because in a story, of course, you've got the facts and this character and that, whatever, but there's also the emotions, there's the direction, there's so much that goes into that. So,
hmm.
yes.
And
Mhm.
like he always shared the hero's journey. You know,
Yes.
we're all on our hero's journey um and I feel like astrology is a wonderful tool to help us along the path, to boost us up when we need a little extra support or bring a little bit of extra meaning to things as they're happening.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
brings some depth.
I agree. That I love tarot too, as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
And I do have a deck where, and it's a known thing, like you can Google it, but it will have which major arcana is connected to which planet.
Yeah.
And even like chakras, the chakras in your body. And like, I
Hmm.
just, how nice to have so much, you know, so much brought together for meaning in our lives. And coming from the religion that I came from, where it was cut and dry and this is what it is, and any kind of intuition that you have, that's not really like go back and pray until it matches ours.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful experience to be able to know that I can trust myself in my own hero's journey,
Yeah.
in pulling tarot cards, and
Hmm.
oh, what are the other cards? I love them too. Oh my gosh, Carrie, Oracle.
Oracle cards. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and the
Uh-huh.
connection that it makes in your
Hmm.
brain
Yeah.
and your emotions, and for the story that
Hmm.
you've already had.
Hmm.
It's pretty phenomenal.
On Mother's Day, I went with my sister to a crystal shop that we had had our eye on for a little bit, and I got myself a pendulum. And I haven't had a pendulum. Well, I do in Mexico because I most of our stuff is down there. And and so I brought it home and I've always loved showing my kids the pendulum because it's magic right in front of your eyes. But it's not magic and it can scare people
Yeah.
when you start, pulling out these tools. But the way I explain it to my kids is that this is just an extension of my energy. This is the energy that you can't see.
Mhm.
And but how amazing to have a tool to show you your energy, right? Like I feel like this is another big thing that I'm coming into really right now in my life is the energy in my body and becoming aware of my energy and how it interacts with others and with the world
Mhm.
and how to harness it, hopefully.
Yes.
Like coming into the realization and the awareness of personal energy,
Mhm.
and then going into a practice of like best use and best cultivation, right? And so like things like tarot and dowsing and prayer and meditation and intuition, all of these things are extensions of our energy and they teach us, they help us, whereas somebody might have a natural born intuition and they have clair audience or they've got the psychic abilities online, right? And so they may not as much need these tools, but for somebody like myself that I don't as much have that internally. It's nice to have these things where you start to uh, like tap into these really subtle energies, become aware of them.
Yes. Yes. Knowing what's in your chart, in the roots, of like where you came from and your home life. Um, yeah, I could see how these things are like amazing, like tools and like to you, they're like totally new and like inventions that you are just now being like, wait a minute, this has been here the whole time. Like I have
Hmm.
access to this,
Yeah.
and then being able to use your muscles and flex in that direction. Yeah, absolutely. I use the term occult before, and in my studies with astrology, it's very clear that occult is the word that all of that stuff, the
Yeah.
powers that be, religions,
Hmm.
governments who wanted power and money
Hmm.
and worship and
Hmm.
whatever, just
Yep.
kind of grouped them all into that, and just
Who
pretend
actually have been
fear.
practicing all of it secretly. So,
Become
mhm,
powerful and
mhm,
to find that in yourself and honor it and it just grows and finally being able to recognize that and say, wait a minute here, I
yeah.
am powerful. I can do so much that
Hmm.
that you told me I couldn't, that you told me wasn't available to me.
Hmm.
um, it's a whole new world. It's
It
different.
is. Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful to, one of my favorite artists, Trevor Hall, he has this song called In and Through the Body. And it's something that has been coming to me over and over through the past few months. I practice Kundalini yoga, and I have for about 7 years off and on, and it's become a more consistent practice for me the past couple of years. And that has really helped me become aware of the subtle energies within the body. And it's just such a great feeling because I think that sometimes when we think about spirituality or metaphysics or religion, it's something outside of
Yeah.
us or far away or not
Wow.
tangible, and actually like these vessels
Mhm.
are they're portals as well through to the divine in the body, through the body, to the body, like it's a pathway to ourselves as well through our bodies are sacred temples. and
Mhm.
um and so yeah, just becoming aware of that energy and then the energy of the stars and just all of the interplay of it's just so wonderful. It is such a beautiful tapestry.
Yes, it honestly is, and I love that. It's so true. Just how much is in our body. Like you were born with it. You were born with the tools that you need. It's just like you said, it's outside of you that told you something else. And for so long, I found my answers outside of me, and I ended up
Hmm.
in a life that made me miserable,
Yeah.
absolutely miserable, having panic attacks, thinking of what was coming next. So, yeah, I think it's huge that we honor what's going on internally,
Hmm.
recognize it, work with it, become it. There's a reality shift. There's astrologers who've been talking about this, and there's one aspect specifically where an astrologer that I respect was talking about this, and it's on our axis, the Leo Aquarius axis, where it's like there's a full moon sitting directly on top of Pluto, and the sun and Jupiter are going to be conjunct, and they're directly across from each other. And he's like, that looks like a new reality to me. But honestly, we can make our new reality anytime
Yep.
that we choose to.
Yes. Yeah. Amen to that.
Mhm.
Oh, well, where can people learn more about your work and find you?
I wish I had a website. It's like under construction, but the best place is probably Instagram. So
Okay.
at Carrie, Carrie dot Eaton, Eaton.
Okay.
And yeah, that's how a lot of my clients find me. They can DM me there, and then I get them the information for my client intake. There's some information I need from you to cast your
Cool.
chart, and
Okay.
so yeah,
And
that's my.
do you do it via Zoom or do you send them, a document of what you compile? How do you do it?
So for me, I like to do them in person where possible. If not, we do Zoom, and
Okay.
they get a report beforehand into their email, and then it's 90 minutes with me.
Okay. And what kinds of readings? What kind
Yes,
of charts?
I know. Which kinds do I love? I love do the birth chart, solar returns. I've done karmic. That is a lot of information. It is
Mhm.
very intense and deep, and that's the
Ooh.
surface. Yeah. And
Okay.
then synastry. I just require with synastry that I've done both birth charts. And so, yeah, fee, and then synastry is its own fee because it's a
Okay.
lot. It's a lot of research, and
I
it's
bet. Have you
yeah.
done any family charts?
Yes, I have done family charts, and I try not to be too nosy if they don't want me
Mm.
to, because it's very detailed and it's very personal.
Yeah.
And so there's stuff in there that you might keep hidden from people, but it's very plain. Yeah. Mhm. We'll have
How many people could a person put into a family chart? Like how does that work? Like for me, I've got 4 kids and a husband. How do you look at everybody?
that is going to definitely be a stack
Okay.
for sure. I would probably do the partners first and look at that and then add. each child and see how it goes, because you're right. Like even with a birth chart, with all of the, what's the word? It's just the complexes that are in it. Even breaking those down singly gives you more information than just immediately looking at a chart. Like you can single out so much more like that than just, bam. So that would definitely be a layered effort. But how
Yeah.
fun, how fun
Yeah.
that to be able.
I love that. Astrology, what you just said, it just makes me think, know thyself,
Yeah.
when you get
Oh,
to go that deep.
yes. So true.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for sharing. And there's so much more to learn, I know. So I can't wait to continue this conversation and to continue to look at the astro weather. And if you had one suggestion for listeners for the coming summer and its energies, what would you suggest?
I would suggest to, it really goes back to what we were talking about, and that is to like understand what's going on inside of you internally and honor that. So that is going to take some meditation time. That is going to take quiet time. That is going to take time when you're alone. And not constantly forever, but like you do need that time where it is you with yourself. The air in the fire basket, this energy is going to go fast and quick. And it doesn't mean that everything that's thrown at us is important. It doesn't mean that's where you're headed. So
Mm,
for you to take the reins, you've got to know yourself, just like you said. You've
yeah.
got to know what your direction is. So honor, your you time and what's happening in your body, even in the moment, because you can be with friends and you can be out and about, and your body is right there with you, telling you things. If you keep listening, it will keep talking to you. If you continue to shut off the indicators, you're kind of
It'll yell
stuck.
at you.
Yep, yep. It'll either yell at you or you will find yourself so lost and far
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Down the wrong path.
Yeah, yeah. So you have been wonderful. You have such a gift. I love our interaction and talking. Please
Oh,
have me.
thank you. Oh, it's such a joy. Well, Carrie, you just be well over there, and to all the listeners, be well. Continue the internal journeys where we're all on this journey of expansion and finding our highest expression together. And like you had mentioned in your bio, the lifting up of one lifts up the all, because as within, so without, as above, so below. So everybody's doing the work and we're all blessed for it.
Let's go.
All right, my dear. Well, I will look forward to our next time together. And until then, just take great care.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. Love on
Thank
that.
you.